What is the issue with them giving you a hug?
I mean, that's not the question, but like I said, it's haram.
Okay.
Right? It's haram, right? Allah dictates this, that you are not supposed to touch the opposite gender, especially if they're non-mahram. Okay, going back to the actual question, all right?
Your friend is going through a difficult marriage.
Oh my gosh.
What advice do you give her?
Oh my gosh.
Her.
Oh, her, right? I mean, are you supposed to have a friend who's
From the opposite gender.
from opposite gender? Oh my gosh, this is a bigger discussion. Like, do we dissect this question first, or like, I don't want people to,
This
you
is
know,
a multi-layered.
I think, in my perspective, you can't have friends who are girls. Like, I've grown up knowing girls who are mashallah, they're like Muslims and non-Muslims. I grew up in this country, born and bred in this country. I never had a girlfriend, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, alhamdulillah.
But you would get married to a girl.
Yeah, of course. Yes, alhamdulillah, right? But I'm saying that I don't even think that's we have to focus on that question, her or him, right?
Him. So should we just switch it to him?
Yeah, that's fine.
But this will create a question
that's
for
true.
many.
Yes,
to say,
exactly. Yeah, what are you talking about? Why
can't you be friends
okay,
with a girl?
Okay, fine. All right. So here's how I do.
Who's going through a tough time?
Yes. Especially in.
But then my question would be, how do you know this girl?
So exactly.
And why are you friends with this girl?
No. There's plenty of good ways to know girls, and like there's girls within your family that you can be friends with. Like, let's say cousins. Maybe you are a good friend to your cousin, right? But Islam has a different mindset, right? There are restrictions, right? You can't be alone with this person. You can't. When we say friends, what do you mean by that? That's my question I would ask someone when they're so uppity about like Islamic principles and whatnot. Like, what is a friend to you? Right? A friend from the Western standards, a friend is the one who is always there for me, right? There to give me a hug. You can
call them up anytime.
Gives me a hug and stuff. For us, the dynamics changes. So, for example, if I were to ask you, okay, you have a friend who is a girl.
I don't.
I'm just saying.
Just for my wife to know if she's watching this.
That doesn't mean that you're like. That doesn't mean that you don't have relations.
Even if I did, I wouldn't.
This is really hard, but I want to really delve into this. Okay.
Sorry.
It doesn't mean you act rude to people or the opposite gender. It doesn't mean you cannot work with the opposite gender. It doesn't mean that you can't express gratitude to the other gender. It doesn't mean that you can't go to, you're going to school and then you're trying to help someone out, like let's say MSA and whatnot, right?
Can you shake hands with them?
So this is the thing, right? Our standards of friendship, okay, might be a little bit different. Allah says in the Quran that both believing men and women are supporters of each other. Let's start there. So both believing men and women, you are supposed to have this love for humanity, especially for your brothers and sisters in the faith. So you cannot, we want to be more than friends. We want to be the gateway for even a sister who we don't know from some other place, right? We've never met before. When she gives us salam, we say, wa alaikum salam. We want peace for her. But it's a different standard. So coming back to my point, if you're...
What is the issue with a girl...
being a friend.
Coming and giving you a hug.
Yeah,
which
can.
Is
the Prophet
practiced here.
Only mahram, those people who are non-marriageable to you, right? Those people like your mother, your grandmother, and then your sister, and then your daughter, right? And then your actual niece and nephew, right? If we're talking about both genders, they are called mahram, those people who are non-marriageable. Allah dictates the standard, right? This is something that we all need to learn. It's in the Quran, it's in the Sunnah, right? These are people that can show their hair, that can show, that can touch you, that can hug you, right? Show expressions of love that way, right? But if you're non-mahram, those who are marriageable, right? And cousins would be marriageable. And other women that are not part of this direct family, this nuclear family, they are marriageable, right? They cannot touch you. They shouldn't touch you, right? They shouldn't hug you. They shouldn't kiss you, right? They are marriageable, right? All of that we do through the avenue of marriage.
What is the issue with them giving you a hug?
I mean, that's not the question, but like I said, it's haram.
Okay.
Right? It's haram, right? Allah dictates this, that you are not supposed to touch the opposite gender, especially if they're non-mahram. Okay, going back to the actual question, all right?
Should we go back to the question?
Yes,
this question right here.
yes.
Your friend is going through a difficult marriage.
Yeah.
What advice do you give him?
Okay.
How about that? To make it,
her. We'll
go with her.
I think we
Okay,
can even cut this whole thing off, the her part. But say the question one more time, so then just in case we do.
Your friend is going through a difficult marriage. What advice do you give her?
Okay. So what I would say is, first of all, I would try to get both perspective. We have to understand the situation, right? Listen to her in a controlled environment, especially I don't know if it's therapy, if it's coaching or whatnot, right? That's one environment, and another environment is like this friendship, and that's why we went into if you can actually have, if you can become emotional, especially as far as Islam, if a man can become emotional with another woman who is non-mahram, because this is one of shaitan's tactics, that they tell you all their problems and emotions, and if you're friends, like, you know what I'm saying, you can start having feelings and you can start giving the wrong advice and things happen. In Bangla we call it porokia. We have affairs and whatnot, right? People have this soft spot for people who are going through stuff. So it's dangerous, this dynamic. But let's just say it's a family friend. You're in an environment where other people are there too, and then she just all of a sudden says that, I'm having this issue. Depending on what issue it is, okay? You tell them, you understand their capacity to handle it or not, and then you advise them accordingly. So if there's an issue that is surface level issue, you tell them to talk it out, communicate. You try to understand where the gap is, if you can understand, right? If it's a communication issue, if it's a psychological issue, right? If it's a societal issue, what is it? If it's an internal issue, if it's external factors, all these. Let's say if it's serious and it's about abuse, any type of abuse, then you tell them to get actual help, right? A lot of the times we think because we're friends that we have the best advice to give. No, the best advice is to give is, if you don't know something, you say, I don't know, but I'm here to help support you however I can in my capacity, but I think you should reach out to a professional and here's how I can help you, right? Also, you can ask them, one of the best ways to help someone is to ask them how they would like help. So a lot of people rant on and they vent and whatnot, but you ask them what is the solution that you're looking for, and then sometimes you'll see a lot of people would like to just say things and get it out of their hearts. There were times in my life where I was asking myself if I can just have one person ask me, how are you truly doing in life? When I was going through my divorce, right? And you know about this really well. I was in a 7-year marriage, right? There were some of the most amazing times in my life during my marriage, and then some of the hardest times in my life during marriage, right? And then I was building up in my cybersecurity career, and then I was trying to give all of my heart towards this marriage and whatnot. But for many reasons, it didn't work out. But there was a time where I was asking myself, if someone could, and I had friends like you, but at other times I was asking myself, if someone could just ask me, is there anything you want to talk about? Right? And so sometimes you find out that, like, even in mental health, when I was working in mental health, people just want to just express what they're going through. That itself is therapeutic, right? So let them, I would say the first thing you should do is listen to them. Let them vent and let them say it. Then once you've identified whether you can help them or not, take the next step. If you cannot help them based on the situation, let them get professional help. If you can help them as a friend and you know certain things that, you have access to certain things, then try to help them at your capacity. But know your limits, know your lane, and then obviously remind them of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We always speak about spirituality and then also the practical aspects of it, right? And that's what I would do.
SubhanAllah. And we know through hadith that one of the top priorities of shaitan, the devil, is to break a marriage apart. One of the top priorities, you have to guard yourself against any, what we call nazar, but
Yes.
Give me another term for it. Nazar is
Hasad.
hasad, jealousy,
Jealousy,
right?
envy.
This is the age of social media.
Oh yeah, you're
We
so
put
right.
our
People exacerbate it even more. Their issues.
and I do not believe in putting your whole family,
You're right.
husband and wife, putting themselves out there, having a great time.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now on social media, and that captures could be a lot of hasad.
Yes, true. Very true. Very true. Very true.
Which can plant a seed in different people's mind in different
Yes,
ways,
yes, true.
and can ruin a marriage.
Yes.
So again, keeping in mind that one of the goals that Shaitan has when he asks his assistants at the end of the day,
Yeah.
what have you done, and he rewards the one that actually has gone ahead and broken a marriage apart.
Yeah.
That tells you that Shaitan is constantly trying to do that, and we have to guard ourselves against it.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. That's one thing I could tell about my previous marriage, alhamdulillah. It was, in one sense, it was beautiful because we would never need to do anything online to satisfy our relationship. You see what I'm saying? It's a source of satisfaction to people to just show themselves, right? I'm more of a social media person. She wasn't. And I respected that and whatnot, but there was never a need. There's sometimes jokes here and there and whatnot, like those normal marriage jokes, right? But you are right. This trend, I'm not free from it, but I'm just saying there's a huge trend of just now Muslim couples, whether they're niqabi or not, right? Hijab is a mindset before it is an apparel. Khimar is a mindset. Niqab is a mindset. You can go deep into what these entail linguistically and what it is as cloth. But if a niqabi is dancing, is doing, with other guys, she's not really from a sunnah point of view, observing the niqab. If the hijab, if a hijabi is on the lap of some non-mahrams, right, and making these videos, right? But when it comes to even couples, now we need to have a balance. We should show that there's love between men and husband and wife. I think our cultures lack that. There's a problem with that. But do we always have to? And there's a discussion, especially from a fiqh discussion, on how much a husband and a wife can show affection and love in front of other people. And some people say it's okay depending on what type they're showing. Our children do need to see this more at home, right? So they don't think this a dull and negative thing, right? But do we overexpose ourselves on social media because of this issue? It's truly a huge issue. A lot of people don't find that genuine love. And you might have something genuine and it might be broken and because of hasad and whatnot.
May Allah protect all of us.
I mean.